Hey everyone, Lone Wolf Jedi here, and I saw some things today. I was watching the news, not exactly today, but April 29th. I'm looking at the clock right now. It's actually April 30th. But they brought up a situation on the news locally here where I live, and they said that basically it was 20 years ago, April 29th, that was the start of one of the darkest times in the history of Los Angeles. Some of you might remember this. It was the start of the LA riots, and sorry, all the emotion of what happened then is just really starting to come back now. But basically, for those of you who don't remember, the LA riots were they all started back in March when motorist Rodney King, who, by the way, he was also interviewed on another news station I was watching. I watched two news shows. One is on the local ABC network, Channel 7, and the other is the local CBS network, Channel 2. And I'm trying to think here. Well, what happened was I was thinking about what happened back then, and I remember very vividly. It all started, like I said, when motorist Rodney King was pulled over by some LAPD officers and beaten to near death. And those four LAPD officers were tried and acquitted. And it was on this day, on April 29th, that judge, I think his name was Stanley Weisberg. I know his last name was Weisberg because I happen to have gone to high school with a kid named Weisberg. The last name was Weisberg, so that's how I remember it. And trying to hold back some of the emotions I had back then. But I remember very vividly that my sister, she actually asked me. Excuse that. I was changing the volume on my laptop here. But I remember like after the first day, she called me and my mother up because at the time me and my mother were living in Temple City, and she said, "Can you watch the kids?" At the time, it was only two. It was the twins, my youngest niece and nephew. I mean, my oldest niece and my nephew. And I said, "Sure." And she goes, "Well, aren't you gonna ask Mom?" I said, "Michelle, I'm pretty sure Mom would not mind." Because at the time I was off of work. I used to work at McDonald's at the time, and my sister was at home. My mother was on her route because she drove a bus at the time. And I said, I'm pretty sure, given what's going on, she wouldn't mind at all. So we did take the kids in for that period of time, and I remember watching the news during most of that, and one of the news reporters. He was reflecting on it today. Right now he's a consumer reporter on a local ABC station, Channel 7. His name is Rick Romero, and he was reporting basically right near where I'm living right now, and is where my sister used to live. It's like my sister used to live like about maybe a good, literally a stone's throw away from where we live now, but. And right now there's people squatting in that old house. It's just fucking ridiculous. But anyway, that's something else. Anyway, I'm talking about I'm reflecting on the LA riots right now. And basically, I remember him. First of all, I remember seeing him report. He actually showed this on his reflection on his reflection report today. He said that he was over at it used to be called Olympic Mart. It was on Olympic Boulevard between Parkview and Grandview, and it used to be an indoor, like one of those indoor swap meet kind of places. But since then, the owner, well, at the time, the owner was a Korean guy. He noticed one of his fellow business owners, his business was burned, and he remembered basically that the reporter remembered seeing the owner on top of the building, and some of the workers at that swap meet outside the swap meet with assault rifles, not just just little shotguns. I'm talking full-on assault rifles. I mean, it was a war zone. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, it was a war zone out there. I remember later on he was reporting, and he showed a bunch of people running down to the corner of Olympic and Hoover, and which is like a block away from what used to be Olympic Park. Since then, it was a Korean supermarket, which last couple of months, and now it's a Northgate Market, which is a Spanish market. Not a bad place, by the way. But I remember during that time he showed a bunch of people in the neighborhood running down to the northeast corner of Olympic and Hoover's with garden hoses, fighting the fire that was lit in that little shopping center. And two of those people happened to be my sister and her now ex-boyfriend. I was like, "Hey Mom, Michelle's on the TV." And she goes, "What?" I said, "Yeah." And I saw my sister running down. My sister and her ex-boyfriend running down to the corner with garden hoses, because basically that's what a lot of people did then. A lot of the neighborhood people who were tired of the rioting, who wanted to try and help save some of these businesses, they fought the fire with garden hoses, because the LA Fire Department was overwhelmed. Okay, they were just too many fires. And I remember one of the businesses that was owned by a Korean guy. It was a laundromat, and it was near the corner of Olympic and Alvarado, just like about one place south. Because right now, what used to be on the corner, the southeast corner, southwest corner, so shopping center, the subway, and all that. But southeast corner, you used to have a burger place called Double Eagle. They used to make some pretty good stuff, but I guess the government shut them down, because now it's a Korean auto dealership, and the laundromat, it was a good laundromat, but it burned, and the owner, Korean guy, decides he just cut his losses and take the insurance money. And for like the longest time, that was just a vacant lot. My oldest niece remembers playing in that lot a few times, but the city took control of it, and now it's the Pico Union branch of the LA Public Library. And I used to frequent that library a lot, but I don't anymore. I mean, I used to go there and use a computer. Now, since I got my laptop, I don't do it. So, I'm trying to think what else. But I remember, and I also remember one of the battle cries during that time was "No justice, no peace." And I'm like, it's now after, I can understand like a few minutes after, because I remember when the verdict was read, Florence Normandy, there was a semi-truck driver was pulled right out of his truck. Reginald Denny. He was beaten to near death. I don't know. I don't know what happened to him since then, but going back to what I said earlier, Rodney King was actually recently talked to by Pat Harvey. She's one of the reporters for both the local CBS affiliate and their sister station KCAL 9, and she said that here we are again because she remembers talking to him years ago, and he said first of all he has he has respect for the LAPD even though those guys beat him near death. And he said he's actually been to some of their functions, and the funny thing is he's a grandfather. He's going to be getting married to one of the jurors in a civil case against this police officer, which they were found guilty. And it was just, I'm like, wow, he's actually doing better now. Good for him. But yeah, basically, I remember very vividly. I was 19 at the time. I was just out of high school. I was working at McDonald's, living in Temple City, which is in the San Gabriel Valley, with my mother, and my sister. I think she was working at Jack in the Box at the time. I know her boyfriend. I call him my brother-in-law sometimes, but her ex was working security. So, and not much has changed for him since then, but a lot has changed for me. I just think to myself, I just hope that nothing like this ever happens again. Because the LA riots, the LA riots made the Watts riots look like a fucking picnic. Okay, I'm not kidding. It made the Watts riots look like a fucking family picnic. And it was. I remember Al Sharpton said. He said recently. He said that what happened back then shouldn't have happened. The verdict shouldn't have been the way it was. What people did afterwards shouldn't have happened. The reaction should not have been what it was. And I agree with him. It shouldn't have been. And right now I'm just kind of reflecting on it. I'm just thinking it was a dark time. It was one of the darkest times here in LA. And excuse me, I'm sorry. All the emotion about that is coming back to me now, and just thought I'd share that with you guys. So until my next video, this is LWJ saying thank you all for watching. See you all next time. Take care of yourselves.